Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and in today's video I'm sharing with you how I was able to pay off my mortgage before the age of 40 and in less than half the time. And first, I want to share with you the actual video that I took right after I walked out of the bank and paid off my mortgage. I did it! I paid off my mortgage in 14 years and 4 months. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this day for a long time, 14 years and 4 months to be exact. And I know not everyone wants to pay off their mortgage early. Some people want to leverage their debt and continue to invest in more and more properties. But I am done investing in properties for now. That might change later. I think it would be fun to buy a house with my future husband, so we'll see what happens. For me personally, managing 4 properties right now keeps me busy enough, and I still have time to go do a lot of fun things. If I hadn't planned on getting 3 more properties, I would have paid off this mortgage quite a long time ago. But that wasn't the case, and now I feel comfortable with the amount of properties that I have right now, so I felt like it was a good idea to pay off this first mortgage of mine. And tell me in the comments if you have paid off a mortgage yet, or even when you plan to pay off your mortgage. I'm curious to know. And if you're ready for the details, hit that like button and we're gonna get started. I'm going to discuss 4 main things I did that helped me to pay off this mortgage in less than half the time and before I turn age 40. My mortgage amount was about $124,000. I don't have the exact numbers, unfortunately. I did not know I would be doing a video on this 14 years and 4 months after I had purchased the property. And let's not forget, when we take out a mortgage loan, we are actually paying a lot more because of the interest on the loan. So for my mortgage, it could have been around 70 grand more if I hadn't made any extra payments or decided to pay it off early. All right, the first thing I did was to actually set a goal to pay off my mortgage early. I wanted to pay off this mortgage before my 40th birthday, and I don't actually remember when I set this goal. Nonetheless, I set the goal, so that was my intent, to pay it off before my 40th birthday. And of course, as you go along, your goals can change over time, and this goal could have changed, but it hadn't. And honestly, over the past year or 2, I had been toying with the idea of purchasing a 5th property, but in the back of my mind, I felt like paying off this property was the goal that I had, and I still wanted to do that. And that's what I ended up doing. So make sure you are setting money goals along the way. It's really important that you know what you want to focus on and set the goal for that. Not only does it make money more exciting, but you can also see the things that you have accomplished along the way. And like I mentioned, I know people like to leverage debt and continue to purchase properties and refinance their properties and continue to buy more, but I'm at a point where I feel comfortable with the amount of properties that I have currently. So I felt really good about paying off this first mortgage. And I actually have a friend who I feel like it may never be quite enough for him. He really loves investing in real estate and continues to buy more and more properties, and he manages them himself, so he is very busy with that, which is great for him. That is just not my personality. I like to have a lot of time for fun and for traveling. And I also like having that feeling of owning a property free and clear. So if everything did fail or go completely wrong, I could eventually move back into this place and live there without having to worry about paying a mortgage. And I'm not over leveraged on my properties, so something like this that has just happened with our economy, I'm not in financial ruin if people aren't paying me rent for a little while. And owning this property free and clear makes that even easier. I have even more of a cushion, so I feel more comfortable with my properties. By setting this goal, I had it in the back of my mind. So when I was deciding to make certain purchases, maybe buying some new furniture, I would think, okay, I could buy this new furniture, or I could put that money toward paying off my property even sooner. And by doing that, I really had a clear focus on what my priorities were. And it doesn't mean that I didn't have any fun or that I was starving myself, but it just meant that I was spending my money on my priorities, on things that I felt were important to me. So really think about some money goals that you want to accomplish and take a step back when you're spending money and really ask yourself, okay, is this a priority for me? Is this something that is going to bring me joy or lasting happiness? Or could this money be better spent in a different way or saved to pay off a mortgage or whatever your priorities are. And if the answer is yes, this is going to bring me joy, then go ahead and spend your money that way. That is your priority, and by spending on our priorities, it makes us a lot happier, and we don't have regret or feel bad about spending our money the way that we have. All right, let's talk about the second thing that I did to pay off my mortgage early, and that was to always pay my mortgage on time and never miss a payment. By making my payments on time every time, it helped in two main ways. The first way is that I wasn't paying any extra interest on this mortgage. I'm sure you've seen how much people pay in interest on mortgage loans, and it is an astronomical amount. It can even be double what your purchase price was for the property. So the least amount of interest that we can be paying, the better off we are going to be. So if we're making our payments every time on time, we aren't going to pay any extra interest, and we won't be paying any late fees either. And then the second thing that this helped with was boosting my credit score. So 35% of our credit score is based on making on-time payments. So by keeping our credit score even higher, that means that we can make our largest purchases, our homes or our cars, with a lower interest rate, which means we will pay a lower amount for those large items. Okay, so how did I do this? When I first set up the mortgage, I set up auto payments. And they ended up selling my loan to someone else later on, which usually happens. But with this lender, I can't remember exactly why. They might have charged an extra fee to set up auto payments, or I couldn't add an extra amount with my payment. But for some reason, I decided not to set up auto payments when they had switched over to a new lender. So I would honestly log into the account and make my payment each month. And I didn't have a problem remembering to do this because I always pay my bills on the 25th of each month. I actually have a reminder in my phone to pay my bills every 25th of the month, and I could take that out of my phone, but I just haven't. So by scheduling a certain day that I would pay my bills, I made sure to pay my mortgage payment along with my other bills without fail every single month. And this way, if I wanted to pay a little extra, I could. I would highly recommend setting up a certain time to update your budget and pay your bills every month, if not every week. All right, the third thing that I did to help pay off my mortgage early was to make extra payments along the way. And like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, I didn't know I would be doing a video on this 14 years later, so I don't have the exact amounts that I paid extra each year. And I know a lot of people talk about doing bi-weekly payments, having that scheduled out. And I didn't do either of those things. I just did what worked for me. I would pay extra here and there and was paying at least a few dollars extra each month. So it's important to do what works for you. If it's better for you to auto schedule your payments, then do that. And schedule in one extra payment a year, then do that. Or add an extra each month with your payment, or just add extra when you receive a bonus or some type of extra cash. It's not a one size fits all. It's a do what works best for you because you'll actually do it that way. Okay, the fourth thing that I did to help pay off my mortgage early and before age 40 was to save up a lump sum to just pay off that remaining balance. And honestly, this was pretty cool to see this come together. So my 40th birthday is coming up this summer in July, and I knew I wanted to pay it off before then. And I was getting close to having the lump sum in my savings. And I wanted to see exactly what the payoff amount would be because the actual loan amount that shows in your account isn't the actual amount to pay off the loan. So I logged into my account and clicked on the request payoff amount. And when I did that, it gave me an option to select a date, but it wouldn't go that far out. It would only go out to May 1st. I did this toward the beginning of April. So I just selected May 1st and thought, okay, they'll just give me a payoff amount in here and I can look at it in a few weeks or later on. I was planning on paying it off in June, so it would be before my birthday in July. But when I hit to request the payoff amount, it actually popped up with a message saying that they are sending me a letter in the mail with the actual payoff amount for May 1st. So I kind of started thinking, I wonder if I would have enough to pay off that lump sum balance. I received the letter a few days later and it gave me the lump sum amount and they included the interest through May 1st. And then it did a county recording fee, which was $40. and a reconveyance fee, which was $40 as well. And it also stated to call the lender 24 hours beforehand to make sure nothing had changed with the amount. And then a few things started to flow in. I actually did a speaking event, which paid me over $1,000, and then the stimulus payment came in, and one of my tenants ended up paying me for April with late fees plus May's rent, so I had an extra $1,200, and then the rest of my tenants, except for 3, ended up paying me before May 1st, and there were a few other things that happened. So I feel like I had enough of a buffer to pay this off by May 1st. I've mentioned this before, but if you have an emergency fund or a savings account, make sure you're using an online bank rather than a brick and mortar bank, because you will get a higher interest rate there. You'll be making a little bit more on your money. Anyway, I transferred that money from my online savings account to the credit union, the brick and mortar credit union that I use, because they have a lower wire transfer fee. It's $15. And that's how I decided to pay off my mortgage. You can either do a wire transfer or mail certified funds to them, a certified check essentially. And I thought, I'll just play it safe and do the wire transfer and pay the $15. And that way I know it's taken care of. And they didn't specify in the letter how long the wire transfer would take, but I Googled it and it looks like it takes about 24 hours for domestic wire transfers. So I went into the bank on April 29th and had them do a wire transfer to Bank of America, where my mortgage was being held, to completely pay off my mortgage. And it turns out they received that wire transfer in the same day, so I had it all paid off on April 29th. And I will be getting a check for, I think it was $6.30, since I paid it off before May 1st. And I even called them just to double check. So that is how I was able to pay off my mortgage in less than half the time and before I turned age 40. So I am super excited about this. And like I said before, if you guys have paid off a mortgage, comment below and tell me when you paid off your mortgage or when you are planning to pay off your mortgage. And just a few more thoughts. I did take out this mortgage in December of 2005, and I did it with 2 separate mortgages. It was better to do 2 separate mortgages rather than pay PMI, because I didn't put 20% down on my property. And I paid off that second mortgage very quickly. I think it was within about 3 years. So I did pay quite a bit extra toward that second mortgage. And then I did refinance in 2009, so that dropped my interest rate a little bit, so that helped as well. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will really help me out and we can get this content out to more people. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.